Hey guys, what's up? It's Lainey, and today I am starting a writing vlog because it's been a hot minute since I filmed one and I've missed them so much, and this is the first official writing vlog that I get to do as an agented writer. So what am I doing? Elle sent me my edit letter for the Serpent Court. I should probably get used to saying that more since that's the title that we're gonna go out on sub with, and I'm just so used to always calling it Crow Family because that's just what I've been calling it basically since 2018. But the Serpent Court, it's pretty much kind of what we talked about on the phone with our during the offer call. Basically we are focusing on spicing it up, which when I heard that I was like, listen, I can do spice. And then also just smoothing out some of like the character intent and character motives. She did say that the actual plot and like the pacing and that whole structure is pretty sound, and she didn't think that the first read through or the second read through that there needs to be any structural changes, which to me is great. So basically what we're doing is we're just adding gravy onto the manuscript. When she told me that on the phone and even seeing that in the letter, I was still like in a weird disbelief that like the book doesn't need like major overhauls, because I'm just always in that perpetual state of self-doubt of this isn't very good. So the fact that someone's telling me like, no, yeah, this is pretty good, so we're just gonna enhance all of what you already have, I don't even know how to think about that. I think it really comes down to like not believing in yourself. This clip is gonna be a little bit longer because it's like the first official clip I've done with an agent, and there's things that I didn't really say in my How I Got My Agent video that I wanted to talk about but didn't feel right in that video. Well, first, huge shout out to Lindsay Puckett, because I wasn't able to like really talk about her in my How I Got My Agent video because when I filmed it she hadn't announced that she also got an agent. She is with Literary now. She's my only friend that knew exactly how I was feeling in the querying trenches because we were going through the querying trenches together. So like all the self-doubt, this weird agent period, she got her offer 2 days after I got mine. So we've been like really, like we've been running this marathon together here. I'm just so happy that I had someone like Lindsay going through all of these odd emotions and feelings of imposter syndrome. Like that was like the biggest thing that we both like were talking about like after we had our calls. I've never felt imposter syndrome like I did after I had the call, because it's just like you're going and you're going and you're going and you're going with querying, and you're just, it's rejection after rejection and after rejection. And I know it only takes one, and it only does take one, but then you're still like, but all these other people still said no. So is this all like not real? Like, so it's like this really weird feeling. A lot of people ask me like, how did you celebrate? And it's like, I didn't really celebrate. Like I didn't do anything until I signed, or when I accepted Elle's offer. My parents and I, because I was at home at the time, we got pizza. So that was like the only way I really celebrated, because like it feels weird celebrating something that you truly don't believe you have in your grasp, even though you do. It's a weird, totally weird mindset to be involved in. So my edit letter, we have a call set up for Monday where we're going to talk through a few of problem solving, a few of just like the character motivations and intent sections, and kind of like explaining things so it doesn't seem unbelievable. In the meantime, I need to revise. And what I'm going to be focusing on, which is really weird for me because you guys know I don't write, I don't revise, I do nothing out of order. But since most of her notes were concentrated in the first act and the third act, I have like the whole middle. I can go through like the grammar and the line edits that she put in, and also add the spice in those scenes, because that's like when like the real, like the fun and games part of the book is, which is her building her relationships with the two guys. And one of the things that she really wanted me to focus on was like making sure that like people really ship her with, they really want her to be with one or the other. So that's like kind of like what I had to go through. And it's weird I can't really talk about certain things like towards the end because that's a spoiler, but it's like all trying to make all that make sense for like what happens at the end. So then like it's just like making sure the reader is satisfied. And that's the one thing I've always been really proud of is Valentina, who's my main character. I love her character arc. It's my favorite character arc I've ever written, and everybody who's read it gets it, like what that whole arc is supposed to do. Her personal character growth, her arc is what I'm most proud of. So like the fact that everybody who reads it feels the same way, that like that's a really strong point, makes me feel like I've done my job. So it is 2:30 and it's been like a really, I'm feeling just like super lethargic. I mean, when I worked out this morning, it was leg day, and that's the devil's workout. I hate leg day with all of my heart. I've been really slow going, took a shower, did some self-care, then I, for some reason, decided to watch part of the impeachment, closing arguments, and then I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race. But now I'm like in here because I decided that I want Domino's pizza tonight. And the only way I can get that is if I do this first. If I get some headway into revision, my reward can be Domino's. I feel like the first maybe 20 minutes is going to be kind of all over the place because I have written down a lot going on my desk right now. This is for work. So this one is, I've written down already a page of notes from what her editor said. And you guys know how much I love music. It really influences my writing. She said that she listened to the first and second season of A Discovery of Witches soundtracks while she edited this. Because I want to feel like I'm in that same vibe. Of course, I went on my Amazon Music and I downloaded seasons 1 and 2 Discovery of Witches soundtrack so that I can listen to it while I edit this, and then like we can be on the same brainwave in a way. So with that being said, I'm going to get started with revising. Okay, so it is really hard to work out of order. I feel like I'm like really trying to get into the mindset, but I can't because I've like skipped over so many chapters already. And I don't know if like when I add stuff in up there, if that's going to have a ripple effect, and I want to avoid that. I don't know, I'm kind of like in this weird, I don't really know if I should start from the beginning and just try to make the changes that I know that I can. And then I'll have to circle back on those ones after I talk to her on Monday. So I think I'm actually going to order Domino's now because I just really want some pizza. And you guys, it's like so cold and so dry here in Iowa that I was literally going to go to the bank today to withdraw some money so that I can do some laundry because I don't have any more quarters left. And I just looked outside and my car is still kind of covered in snow, and I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm also gonna be making my own marinara because I hate when like I hate when pizza places don't give you enough marinara sauce and then charge you like $1 for like more of the little cups. I don't like it, but I also really like the marinara sauce that I make, so I'm just gonna make a quick batch. Is Sunday. What I'm doing right now is I brought up my laptop and I have my little legal pad that I've been using, going over her notes again that are already in the document, just so that I don't miss anything for when I want to talk to her tomorrow. I want to make sure I have everything laid out just so that it's all kind of fresh in my brain. I do think I'm not going to skip around. I can't do it. When I tried doing it yesterday, I felt so disconnected and disoriented when I was in the document. Talk it over with her and how long she kind of wants these revisions to be. When we were on our first initial offer call, she mentioned how she thinks that my manuscript could be ready to go on sub in March. So that would mean a couple weeks of revising, which I think I can do because the revision notes aren't extensive in the sense that I'd be doing rewrites. That's good. And terrifying to go on sub in March, but here we are. I'm gonna ask her about that again tomorrow, if like that's still her timeline, and then that will kind of gauge of how I'm going to be approaching these revisions. I do need to plan for my week, so I will be doing a time lapse of planning my week in my planner.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, it doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am whole again? Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all, I had a feeling but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all, I had a feeling but the feeling is all gone.
So I got off the phone with Elle and it was a really great conversation. I still feel like super weird having someone like be just as love with my story as I am and talking to them about it. Brainstormed and I think it went really great. We figured out a couple of the things that were kind of hard to believe for the story, and I'm really satisfied with where we landed. This is why it's like so great to have someone brainstorming with you, because like when your own mind is totally zapped and you can't see something another way than what it already is, it's so helpful to talk to someone else, like if that's like your CP or someone, to talk it out and work out that problem, because they're gonna come in with a fresh perspective. I work best under deadlines, so she set a deadline for me that I'm going to turn in this new version by March 9th. I'm hoping that in those 2 weeks I'll be able to get through the manuscript twice, so that when I make all the changes I can go back and read it again just to make sure it's all sitting where I want it to before I send it back to Elle, because then she's going to read it again and she might have like a few more like grammatical edits for like a line level, and hopefully if I did my job right, I would have met her criteria for these revisions. And then after that we're going on sub, so I should be on submission with my book by mid-March, and I'm just like, I'm so happy because I'm like, wow, already. But I'm also like high-key nervous because I just finished the constantly wanting to throw up and doubt myself of the querying trenches, and here I am getting thrown into sub. I'm really excited. I can't wait for her to share the sub list and how she plans to do the rounds and stuff like that. We talked a little bit about that on the phone, but nothing, she didn't give me any specifics, but she did give me specifics on our offer call, and that helped me realize how much she knows of the market when I asked specific imprints that she could see my book in. Like, want to start revision right now, but you guys, I'm so tired. I stayed up until 4 o'clock in the morning reading. I'm reading 2 books as it is right now. I'm reading, well, here's one of the books I'm reading. I'm reading From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is a fantasy romance, which is kind of why I wanted to read it. I started reading it while I was querying, but then I was just getting really too stressed out about querying, so I'm like, another time. So I'm starting to read that again. I'm about halfway through. This book's a commitment. I'm really enjoying it, but do I think it needed to be 600 pages? I do not. And I'm also listening to Captive of the Horde King, which is an alien smut book, one of my faves, that I'm listening to, and I think I have like 3 more hours left of that audiobook, and I was listening to it while I was planning yesterday. But then I decided to just on the whim start I think it's called Love in the Wild. I'll put a picture of it here. It's a Tarzan retelling, and I remember, I'm not quite sure who it was, but someone recommended it to Riley and I during our Smutathon live show back in December. And when that was recommended in the chat, I like pulled it up right away on Amazon and like one-click bought it because I'm like, this is probably something I'm gonna like. And truth be told, it is something I'm very much enjoying. I read 70% of it all last night and this morning, so I'm just like really tired from that. So if you've ever seen the Tarzan movie with Alexander Skarsgård and Margot Robbie, it's basically that, just with more sex. Well, you know, I like strange love interests, and it's kind of reminded me of Transcendence, which, if you guys know what that book is, I mention all the time, it is a caveman romance. I really like weird stuff when it comes to romance, so I actually really recommend this Tarzan book. I think it's really good. I'm really enjoying it, and you know that I'm like really enjoying it when I'm actually like, if something happens to these gorillas, I am going to have a fit. You know when you are watching like a Disney movie with animals in it and you're like, God, if anything happens to those animals, I think I'm gonna cry. That's how I feel like reading his relationships with like the elephants and the gorillas. I'm feeling a lot. While we're on the topic, I'll just go through, I also have read 2 other books since I signed with Elle. I really wanted to fill up my creative well again. I also wanted to just have no pressure and read, which I haven't been able to do since Smutathon in December. So I read The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This is also a fantasy romance, which is why I wanted to read it. I can't read books similar to mine while I was actively drafting or even revising this book. Sometimes I can and sometimes I just can't. And then I just like couldn't read any of these while I was querying. This one was specifically marketed as like a Slytherin romance, so I was really curious. It is a standalone, so I did like it. There was a lot of really great tension with like the enemies to lovers, and she's like also trying to like kill him as she's trying to manipulate and seduce him, so I was like, I like this. And then I also read Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and she's the author that wrote the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I haven't read that series, but I do have the arc of the first book that I got at BEA when BEA was a thing. But I was really, really interested in this one because I love the 7 Deadly Sins, and I've always loved them since the 7 Deadly Sins episode of Charmed. I've been obsessed with it. I also read, I don't know if any of you guys have read this book, but this was like back when YA was first becoming YA, and I was a teen when YA was becoming YA, and there was this series by Robin Wasserman, and it was on the 7 Deadly Sins, and it was kind of like a thriller, and it was a series of like all these teens in like this like podunk town, and they all kind of represented the 7 Deadly Sins. Oh man, I should reread some of those books those series that I used to read when I was an actual teen, because I remember that one was super influential in my reading habits. The A-List by Zoe Dean was also super influential in my what I like to read, because that was like West Coast Gossip Girl. And then, the Sweep series by Kate Tiernan and the Daughters of the Moon series by Lynn Ewing. Those books were everything to me as a teen. Not to get all sappy or anything, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting very far away with this clip, but those books always had such a huge impact on me that I really want to write YA books that I would have wanted to have read when I was a teen, and I hope that if this book gets a book deal, which, cross our fingers, we are gonna hope, you guys, I really hope it finds the readership in all these books found a readership in me that were very important to me growing up. That's just like why I enjoy writing YA so much, because I don't think I've ever really talked about why I like writing YA. So back to this, 7 Deadly Sins. It's basically got this girl this was like a historical fantasy, I guess, because it takes place in Sicily with 2 twin sisters, and one of them dies, and as the twin the surviving twin is trying to figure out what happened to her sister, she gets like, and she ends up in like this crazy deal with a demon, and the princes of hell get involved, and it's just like, it's really crazy. But I am so excited for the second book. I think it's a duology, but I don't know. So that was like a little really quick what I've been reading, so I hope that satisfies people who have been asking me kind of what I've been reading. It has gradually gotten darker and darker in my apartment, and I was too lazy to get up and turn anything on. So It is close to 5. Is it 5? I don't know. I've been laying on my couch and I have been making aesthetics for no other reason than to post on Twitter and try to make friends. My kitchen's a mess, so I'm gonna try to show the least amount of it. Tonight I am making baked ziti, and I've never made it before, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I don't know. It's the healthy version of baked ziti, so it's probably definitely not gonna taste as good. I have to use like the bane of my existence, which is whole wheat pasta. I hate it. It's probably not gonna turn out very well. It's gonna be passable. So I'm not gonna do too much b-roll just because I've never made this before and I don't really have confidence in how it's gonna turn out, but I'll show a couple things. Okay, so finished project. Is it gonna be good? I do not know, but that sizzle's pretty nice. Taste test. Not bad. I feel like if my stepdad would have made this, it would have been better, but it's above passable. Tuesday night and I have my blue light blockers on because I have the worst headache right now, but I really want to continue editing. So today was the start of a work week for me. During breaks from my work day, I did end up revising another chapter. This one had the most changes to it, I feel like, this third chapter, than the other ones. Chapters 1 and 2, I guess. I am going to try to do another chapter minimum and then maybe another one after that if I'm feeling up for it, because I don't know. I took some ibuprofen, so hopefully that will help my headache a little bit. I set up my office to give, like, you know, peak vibes and an atmosphere to edit in. I don't want to talk about these edits so far because I feel like I've been spending a lot of time. I spent over 45 minutes staring at this one line that she had a suggestion on because I didn't know how to fix it. And, but like most of her notes here have been here in the beginning because there's something I need to set up now that has a better payoff in the third act. So I'm trying to like weave that in. It has to do with a character that is dead. I do plan to do a video on like the query that got me my agent. And like that is like a pretty good overview of what the Serpent Court is. I mean, he's dead, but she like thinks about him often. It made me like really feel like I'm missing out having him be dead because I really like their back and forth. And I have flashbacks of them together later on in the draft, but I weaved it in early here and then like with a new scene. And I was like, oh, I like them. It's not even romantic, it's a familial relationship, and I just really liked them. I hope that like makes the readers really connected to him. I do want to say that this is where I am going to end the vlog because I feel like this vlog is pretty long already, but I'm just going to immediately start filming a new vlog once I close this one out because I want to get all of these like revision agent edits as vlogs. Okay, so I think I am calling it a night, and I did 4 chapters tonight. This is my productivity tracker. 1 sticker equals 1 chapter revised. Just about 10 o'clock. I probably could do another chapter because the one that I'm looking at right now is only 6 pages, but I really like this chapter. So I think I'm gonna like have that for hype for tomorrow. Also this month, updating this whole process on both of my Instagram and on my Twitter. So you should follow me at lainey.kress if you want to see those kind of updates. So I love Insta stories. I love updating my progress on Insta stories. So that's like that whole separate thing. I also attach a lot of different music that is on my playlist that I put onto the stories just so that you guys can get the vibe and also get music recs. Twitter, so there's this thing called #SpringRush going on right now, which is technically a challenge of writing 25,000 words in your new work in progress. But I had FOMO. I wanted to participate even though I'm not drafting right now. So I'm actually going to be drafting and I will be revising. So my first priority is obviously revising, but once I turn this back into my agent, then I have like the rest of the month of March. I think it goes from February 16th to March 21st or 25th. So I'll have all that time to start drafting Project Crime again. I'm threading different updates and stuff on there as well. So do I think you should follow me on Instagram and Twitter? I personally do. I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. I'm already dreading editing this because I know it's going to be super long. Not quite sure how I want to end this. Oh, my name is Lainey and I make videos about books and writing, mostly about my writing process, and of course all the smutty romances that I love to read. So if any of that interests you, you guys should definitely hit subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys all in my next vlog. Bye!